Hello and welcome, I am Helle. And today it's been 1 week, I've been home 1 week after Essen Spiel. And what a Spiel it has been this year. It has been absolutely amazing. I personally had a really great time, even though it was sold out all days, even Sunday got sold out in the end. Then it has been really great. I mean, yeah, they made sure to make the aisles between the booth bigger. So even though there was a lot of people, we could walk around. It was not like you were jammed. Yeah, sometimes there was a lot of people, but you could still get around. You could still walk around, and but I don't think other years when it has been really crowded, it was also always like, oh, we can just go to hall 5 or hall 6 because it will be less noisy and there will be fewer people. And I found this year that even those halls were pretty packed with people too. But I think it was okay. It was okay to get around. And maybe you can hear my voice isn't sounding as it usually does, but that's because I have something that has set to my throat. I don't know what it is, but it's annoying me. Like, yeah. So since I got home from Essen, I haven't been really well, but I haven't been ill. I just had something. I don't know what, but I haven't had fever or anything like that. But I have something in my body, and now I have something that just is stuck on my throat, and that's pretty annoying. But you will hear me in some videos where my voice is not back to its normal. And I think at this year's Essen Spiel, the press show where they showed all the novelties, the new games, were very good this year. Last year they had it in another room where it was very small, very crowded, and not enough space between the tables. This year they did it at Hall 7 and there was a lot of space there. It was much better than it had been last year. So that was very enjoyable what they had done with the press show. So it was easier to go and see all of the new games, and also the noise was not as loud as it was last year. So that was great. And this year they also had more tables and more food trucks. But that actually made it more difficult to go in the Galleria. Normally, the Galleria is kind of the pathway between a lot of the halls. They will connect into the Galleria, hall 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So when you have to go for example, hall 2 to hall 5 or hall 3, you can go out to the Galleria, and because it's pretty wide, and that's the area also where they have a lot of things for kids. And now also a lot of food trucks, and they had added more food trucks to this area, and also tables where you can sit down, and that is great. But it also meant that it was more packed with people. People also standing in line for getting food and different things. So it made it more difficult to go through the Galleria to go to the booth. So that was a thing I noticed this year. It was more crowded in the Galleria. So it wasn't just a path you could take to just come quick from one hall to another hall, where you like in hall 6 and you want to go quick down to hall 3. There's a really long way from hall 6 down to hall 3. But I guess it's okay because you have more food trucks and more variety in the food you can get. And then more places where you can sit down. Also outside they had more tables where you could sit down and have your food. So I think that's great that they have made more table space and more food trucks. But it made the Galleria more crowded. And I really think this has been a great year at the Essen Spiel. It was very well organized, and I think the only thing I could wish for, I think that could do it a little bit better, was if they had some kind of area where you could sit and play some of your games. I know it's big and they lack space because they can't really grow much more. Then they would have to take the 8 hall in use. And that actually 8 hall is also used by people that are going to bring their own games that they're going to sell beforehand. There's people that are on Board Game Geek setting games up for sale, and then they will meet at hall 8 to exchange games. And I think that is really great. But I miss one thing at the Essen Spiel, compared to other board game conventions. There you have spaces where you can sit down and play your games and take a break in that way. Or some open gaming areas that maybe you could even attend in the evening. But I think the problem is the lack of space. Also, they sold out, was it already in June? They were sold out for spaces for exhibitors. So not all exhibitors could get a spot. But I think they made some arrangements so they could have more exhibitors in. But they are limited with the space. They can use Hall 8, but that's also a hall they use for people to come in and wait to get in. But I think maybe they could take an area of Hall 8 and just add a lot of tables where you could sit. Because Hall 8 is really big. And then when they're waiting to get in, they could also sit down and wait to get in and play some games while they were waiting. Yeah, you need one more hall. You need a hall just filled with tables as a gaming area where people can go in and sit down and play games. And it could even be open after the opening hours. That is just a wish for me that somehow it could be possible to have some open gaming areas. But I know they have problems with the space. They already could use more space for more exhibitors, I think. But that would just make the Spiel totally perfect if you could add that element to it. And I also think their app worked really, really well. They actually had on the games that you could find your way, and we wanted to try it, but we never got around to try it. I don't know why, but I did use it when I had to find a publisher, if I had to find a specific game, and I also had made my list. So sometimes I would use the app to find out where I was going, but I never tried the one to find my way. I need to do that next year, and I really think they have done a great job with the app. I just have one wish that maybe they could do. I would really like if on the games you have, if you could kind of give them a priority, like you could say, this is one I really want, or so you could kind of give them priorities on the games on the list. So if they could add a little drop-down list for the game, so you could add add it to them, and if it was possible, if they could then mark that on the map when you go to the map, so they could color up the spaces where you had games. That would be perfect. That is just a little wish for the app, but I do think it works really great, and I did use the app during the Essen Spiel. So just to sum it up, I think it was an amazing Essen Spiel, and the press show went well, the novelty show was really great this year, and the show itself was great. Of course there was a lot of people, but they had made really good spaces between the booths, so it was easier to walk around, even though there was a lot of people. And I just look forward to next year. I already do. I always miss it when it's kind of when you get home, you get a little bit of the blues, Essen Blues, because it's over. It went too quick. You didn't get to do all the things you wanted to, and then there's a whole year until next year. But then you're happy because you have all the new games that you can play and you can do, and then you can, of course, again get excited about the next year's Spiel. And I'm already looking forward to next year's Spiel. And next year it's going to be even greater for me because Line has announced that she is also going to join me. So she is done with her studies, so she is ready to just be able to take vacation and come with me to Essen Spiel. So next year Line should join me for that. And that I'm happy about. So at the moment at the channel, it's just about doing a lot of unboxings, and then I of course need to play all of the games. I am already playing. I've played some of the games, and I will gradually come out with some more playthroughs, how to play, or reviews of the games. Yeah, so that was just a little update from me, some afterthoughts for Essen Spiel, and then it's just time to unbox some more games and play games. Thanks for watching.